Greetings, family. Welcome to Brother Tony's barbershop, and we have a special guest, and Duhamutif, who is a close friend of mine, and we'll be talking about what's happening in Tottenham. You know, I know that last night he was part of a reading session on BBC on London Tonight. He will give some information about that. But the reason why we're here to discuss, because we need to get information from the grassroots and get the information across, the true information, because what's happening now, that the media has been very skillfully to manipulate the information, and like anything else, it goes to check with foolishness, you know what I mean? And we start blaming each other. But to me, if you're not dealing with the root of the problem, to me it's just pure confusion. So Duhamutif will give a perspective, and Duhamutif is someone who's been involved in the community for a very long time, very hard working individual. He's a lecturer, he's a teacher, he does many classes focused around history, around religion, and like I said, he's a very community activist. He's a hands-on person, and he gives you straight information. So we don't really have time to really blah and go into his personal business, personal CV, because we'll be here for another half an hour. We're only scratching the surface. So I want to just greet the brother, and just first of all, greet you, my brother.
Greetings, my brother.
One love, my brother.
Thank you for having me here.
Fantastic,
Again,
fantastic.
Appreciate it. Always good to be in your company.
That's right, fantastic. But we want to talk about Tottenham, my brother, and we also want to talk about Tottenham. Also want to talk about the way forward, because I know you've been running, been working hard, and we want people to know what really happened, and also how they can get involved in terms of make a difference, not only Tottenham, but right through the community. So the first thing I ask my brother, give us a perspective, how you think, how this come about, and what we should be doing as well.
Okay, the first thing I think we would do, and I know you are sincere as well, because you often do it when I hear you speaking as well, is send our condolences to the Duggan family.
That's right.
To Mark Duggan, to Simone, to his father Bruno, who I know very well. Alright, to his mother, who we heard speak, and the tearful cries of a mother losing her eldest born son, are still ringing in my ears now today from when we went to the wake. Okay, and the whole of the family, for trying to stay calm, trying to stay strong as they seek answers to what many in our community are calling an assassination.
Right, yeah.
Okay, of a father of four, Mark Duggan, which took place on the 4th of August 2011 under something that's called Trident. Okay, now Operation Trident was set up to deal with so-called black on black crime, and it was said to be set up in response to the amount of stabbings, shootings that were taking place amongst our youth, our black youth. Okay, but one of the things about Operation Trident is that you don't see an equivalent for Caucasians or Europeans. And when you actually look at the statistics, black people are not committing the most crime. And we don't have, as much it may seem, we may have more problems criminality-wise and gang-wise than all other races. In Europe especially, and in England especially, this is not so, because as we're often told, we're the minority. So when you actually look at the numbers, not saying that our youth are not involved in crime or black people are not involved in crime, but it's disproportionate in comparison, okay, to the amount of us that are actually here on this island, or actually on the continent of Europe. Am I making sense here, bro?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Okay, so as I was saying to you, one of the first things we see from Operation Trident, there's nothing similar for Caucasians, unless you are counting the Serious Organised Crime Agency, which was recently set up, called SOCA. And I want people to take note of that note. SOCA, which is a black thing. So was it set up to do with serious white collar crime, or was it set up to do with what they consider to be black gangs, thuggery, yardies, terrorists, etc., 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 which is well worth thinking about. You know what I'm saying to you? And even you look at the level of criminality, you look at the justice figures, and you take it from a racial perspective, all right, because we're often made to tick boxes, so these things do matter. Okay, once again, you will not find us predominantly committing most of the crimes, yet we are disproportionately represented, not only in the criminal justice system in Europe, but also in America. And I often find it amazing the similarities that you find with the way justice is dealt with and served within America and the way it's served within Europe as well, especially against African Europeans or African Caribbeans, as many like to call themselves, or African Americans. The similarities, when you look at some of the figures and the statistics, are strikingly similar, and hopefully we can get into that one day, you know, and show some comparisons, all right? But once again, the main thing about the incident with Mark, or with the young father of four, Mark Duggan, was the approach utilised by the Metropolitan Police, under whatever guise they want to come as, SOCA, Trident, etc., when it comes to stopping and searching people of colour. Okay? I was in a meeting last week with the Stop and Search group, at which there were various police officers from the Metropolitan Police who were also in attendance. And one of the startling things that came out of that meeting was that we have been going through what we feel is a lack of respect, a lack of dignity, and a lack of fair treatment or justice from the police for 3 generations. There were grandfathers, fathers, and sons who can explain and say the same thing about the treatment that they have received from the Metropolitan Police, from the authorities here. Yeah, going back from when they first came into the country, okay, in through the 70s and 80s, where we went through the sus, all right, we fought to have that law repealed or changed, right up until today, yeah, under a lot of IUs being stopped under the Terrorism Act, yeah, under something that was called Section 44 of the Terrorism Act, okay. So when you're having different generations explaining about the same problems that they're going through with the Metropolitan Police, then maybe those who govern us should listen and heed, because one of the things that they try to manipulate in the media about what the recent uprising or the summer uprisings that took place in the UK for 2011 is that there's no similarities with what took place 25 years ago, yeah, which is amazing, because if you actually look at, once again, yeah, the parallels, you can see a tremendous amount of similarities, Brother Dougie, yeah, where there was a Conservative government, high unemployment, the economy was up the creek, yeah, all of the same exact things, which are what we call underlying social justice issues taking place at this present time, where decisions that are being made that out of the hands of the ordinary people that it's actually affecting. Yeah, so when we hear the UK talking about austerity measures, yeah, and they're talking about the collapse of the banking industry and stocks of shares, most of the people who it's affecting on the ground in our community right about now, we're not responsible for that. Do you hear what we're saying to you? Yeah? Yet they're being made to feel the brunt of the policies being put forward by politicians. It was interesting, we was at a meeting on Sunday where it was highlighted that the current Deputy Prime Minister, Nick Clegg, said in an interview on TV that the crash and burn politics of the Tories, of the current Conservative government that the Liberal Democrats are in coalition with at this present time, would lead to social unrest, would lead to riots and social disturbances. You hear what I'm saying to you? And he's calling it the crash and burn, all right, politics. Yeah. Now that Nick Clegg is in the government, and being that he warned about what was going to be taking place, surely he should be explaining this to the current Prime Minister, David Cameron, and also the current Chancellor as well, George Osborne. Yet in reality, they're not dictating the economic policy of the United Kingdom. It's being dictated by the bankers, because United Kingdom PLC is broke. is bankrupt, is in debt. Yeah, and it's in debt to the bankers. And it's the bankers who's actually setting the economic policies for number 11 Downing Street and for number 10 Downing Street, which the communities across the country, I was in Wales at the weekend, down in Wales they're feeling the pinch just as much as we're feeling the pinch up here in London at this present time, or across the UK at this present time, because of the politics that have been brought in, because of the mismanagement of the economy and economics and finance by the bankers, which is being made right now. Every household across the country is being made to feel the effects and to suffer the consequences of what has taken place on the stock market, okay? And consequently has now led to the current economic policies of this government. But as I was saying to you, getting back to the point, it's very interesting that the Deputy Prime Minister made the point that the crash and burn policies of the Conservative that they were coming, which is an extreme right-wing politics. Yeah, let's not mince our words here today, okay? Extreme right-wing politics disguised as some sort of compassionate conservatism or environmental friendly green conservatism. Yeah, no, it's not. Yeah, just as Tony Blair came along with what he called was a centre-right agenda for a Labour government or a new government, which lurched very much more to the right than to the centre. It's exactly the same with this government, where they're making out that they're coming with a centre-right perspective, but it's very much lurching to the right. And the consequence of their policy, they've only been in power 18 months, Dougie. Yeah, and this summer 2011 we've seen the consequences of their policies. And it's not just working class family or people on the dole or on social security. You're talking about hard working middle class families are finding it very difficult right about now, okay, to do shopping for a family of 3 or a family of 4 at this present time.
I want to just interject here, because if you look at what's happening in Tottenham right now, that all the youth services are closed down.
75% of the youth services have been closed down. The EMA grants, which afforded some youth to be able to afford their college books and university, has been slashed, has been cut.
That's right.
Yeah. Any form of tuition help is now gone out the window, where tuition fees have been increased 3 times. Yeah. Take it away from education. When you look at the inflation at this present time, it's far outweighing the rise, and the cost of living is far outstripping the wages that are being made available at this present time. It's pure minimum wage job, minimum wage with McDonald's, minimum wage with KFC, minimum wage with Peacocks. It's pure minimum wage jobs that they're offering out there. So a lot of people want to blame the social uprising on the youth, but if you actually look at the statistics of the youth that have been convicted, it's only about 1/5 of them are actually young people. So it was a wide cross-section, just as the media tried to make out that it was just Africans or African Caribbeans that were writing, where it's not. It's a cross-section of society, who have issues about society and the way society is going right now, and also issues with the enforcers of society, i.e. the police force. Yeah, and this is not to dog out the police force, because if any of us was getting threatened or beaten up, or our life was intimidated, or we couldn't enjoy safe enjoyment of our property, we'd call the police. Yeah, and we'd expect for the taxes that we pay, for them to give us the service, or the public service, that we pay for accordingly. But do remember that the uprisings that took place in Tunisia and the uprisings that took place in Egypt, they all took place because of the treatment of police and of secret police. And don't make out that Britain or the US, these great democracies, don't have secret police, because what is MI5, CIA, FBI, etc.? Don't make out that these police intelligence agencies don't have secret operations. Yeah, isn't that a secret operation coming from a police force who we don't know much about, because they can't let out the intelligence because it will compromise state security? That's secret police. It doesn't matter how you want to brand it, rebrand it, name it. Yeah, that's a secret police.
Because also we need to be clear that if we look at Tottenham now, that there's over 40 betting shops in Tottenham.
That's correct. If you look at what's...
And also, my brother, that there's over 79 betting shops in Haringey. Now then, Tottenham is one of the most poorest boroughs in England.
Yeah, Harringay is said to be one of the poorest boroughs in England. That's
I
correct.
think you did point out to me some time ago, right? But yet again, they just systematically, you know, targeting the poor people. I mean, and you notice that every time there's a post office, there's a betting shop, right? And that's deliberate, very deliberate, right? And beside the betting shop, there's a liquor store or a pub, you know. So that's deliberate because, for example, if it's messed up, you mess your head up in by drinking. You go in the betting shop, mess your head up anyway, lose the money. You still come out, still spend the money back in the system with the off license. Also, as a liquor store, there's one of these £1 chicken shop as well, you know. So we can see that they're systematically targeting, you know, these poor areas, and Tottenham's a good example of that, you know. So I want to bring to the reason, and you can understand why people are very frustrated. Very frustrated.
Totally correct, my brother. At this present time, you're looking at corporate businesses, and we're not saying don't invest in our areas, yeah, who are do coming in, yeah. Once again, as we says, they're offering minimum wages, yeah. The career opportunities are not vast; they're quite limited, okay. And at this present time as well, what you find in our areas when they speak about immigration, okay, because there's been a tremendous movement or migration of Europeans in the last 11 years, okay. So when they're talking about immigration, yeah, and cutting the numbers to do with immigration, they often talking about the Commonwealth after they've reaped the benefits from Commonwealth countries such as Jamaica, such as Antigua, such as Trinidad, such as Barbados, such as Ghana, such as Nigeria, such as Canada. A lot of Caucasians, especially Anglo-Saxon or English Caucasians, tend to forget that in these countries, the same monarchy that is the head of the United Kingdom and Northern Ireland, Queen Elizabeth II, she is the same monarchy that is the head of countries like Jamaica, who are said to be independent, of Guyana, who are said to be independent, of Nigeria, who are said to be independent, of Ghana, who are said to be independent. Go and look at the Commonwealth institution of the Commonwealth. Yeah, go and look it up. Do Commonwealth citizens know that they're allowed to vote in UK elections? Yeah, are UK citizens aware that Commonwealth citizens are allowed or afforded the same rights as UK citizens in UK elections? Yeah, but we turn up at the airport with a Jamaican passport or a Nigerian passport or Ghanaian passport, we're scrutinised. When we were fighting World War I and II, they weren't scrutinising our passports then, but they're scrutinising it now.
That's right.
Yeah, and when we look at the migration that's taking place with Europe opening its borders, we've seen a tremendous amount of Eastern Europeans coming into the United Kingdom and Northern Ireland, and most of these Eastern Europeans have been placed in Harringay, in Hackney, so putting a strain on society, on the social services. Now, as immigrants, we're not saying that we cannot live side by side with these people, or these people are not welcome. Yet, the planning that is coming from not only the UK Parliament, but the European Parliament to cater for these people, because it puts a strain on our services. Have you tried to get an appointment with a dentist lately?
Yeah.
About 2.5 weeks, right, bro? Tried to get an appointment with a doctor lately. It's about 2.5 weeks, right, bro? So we've had the borders open. We've got people coming in from Poland, people coming in from Romania, people coming in from Albania. When we're talking about gangs, yeah, why don't they talk about the Russian gangs? Why don't they talk about the Albanian gangs? Why don't they talk about the Polish gangs? Because they do exist, and a lot of the armory that comes into the UK that is used by our youth on the streets for the gang on, for the black on black crime, for the setting up of organisations like Trident, is coming out of former European communist nations, and also coming out of their armed forces as well, which have been cut and been disbanded. So you've got an awful lot of soldiers as well going back into society. So there's a very, very, if you like, toxic mix being engineered at this present time. As you're talking, the betting shops is part of that agenda. That's minimum wage and the cost of living high is part of that agenda. And when people are, if you like, are under pressure, yeah, they start to analyse things. They start to look at things. You know what I'm saying to you? They start to try and work out mathematically, yeah, because it does come down to money. Because let's get things twisted here. Life on this planet at this present time is all about money. If you're talking to our youth, they want to know about the P's. They want to know about how they're going to get a job, how they're going to get a career, how they're going to make money, how they're going to buy houses, how they're going to buy cars. All of these things are marketed to them through advertisement, through the media, yeah, through sports stars, through celebrities, that they must have these things, through game shows. Who wants to be a millionaire? You can win £1 million. All of these things are marketed into the head of our youth in society, so they just want right about now an opportunity to be able to attain these things without breaking the law. And at this present time, the politics and the policies that are being engineered is making you have to go into debt first and foremost, right. Yeah, in order to be able to create a living for yourself and your family. Yeah, what are we saying to our youth? We're saying to our youth. I was reading a report, an article in the newspaper, where it was saying that if you take on the full student's loan, you're going to be in debt for the rest of your life. Is this the future we are showing our youth? And when they get annoyed, yeah, and get involved in the uprising, we're going to sit there and say, well, you know what? Why are they doing this? What's the matter with them? Okay, we had it hard, but as you said, rightly said at the beginning of this program, we've got to start looking at the roots of the problems. Yeah. We've got to start looking at why is history repeating itself. Yeah. We've got to start looking at why haven't we learned from the errors and mistakes that have gone past previously. Okay, I mean, even tonight we will be touching on Afro-Caribbean businesses being blocked out of the Olympics. We was at the carnival, Doug, yeah? And the vibrations that we got from the carnival, which, remember, in 3 days it brings more money into the UK economy than any entertainment any Caucasians have ever managed to come up with in the UK. In 3 days, the amount of money we bring into the UK economy. And we were there, and the vibe that we got when we got there is that people, they just wanted to be entertained. They just wanted to party because they were just fed up. Yeah, nobody wanted to have a round, nobody wanted to have a fight. People just wanted to, if you like, release their stress. Yeah, and I don't know if I was the only one who picked up on this vibration, but you picked up on this vibration that was there as well. You know what I'm saying? And the other thing we picked up on when we was there is that in looking at the marvellous floats that was taken, but how creative our people actually are, you know what I'm saying, putting things together and etc. is how can they eliminate this from the Olympics? How can they not want to pay people to contribute what we saw at London Carnival 2011 to the Olympics? Because they want you to volunteer, not thinking about, well, where's the money going to come from? Yeah, in this store measure. Yeah, but the Olympics is generating £9 billion. They say they're giving us a percentage of the contracts, but we can't find any black businesses, yeah, or BAME businesses, as we say, black and Asian minority ethnic businesses, who have been given the so-called 6.9 million that they've given out in contracts at this present time, which we're going to touch on a lot deeper on your program. So make sure you tune into SLR 97.7 a little bit later on, all right? But how are we expected to provide opportunities for our youth if the monies is not circulating in African Caribbean business? Bearing in mind these are our tax monies, which are spent for whatever Europeans need. And I'm going to not mince my words, Caucasian Europeans needs. But how, as you said, youth services cut by 75%, funding to the arts cut as well by almost 90%, yeah? And we're talking about funding to Nubian African cultural project as we're about to get into Black History Month, yeah? All of the funding for that has been cut as well, okay, yeah? London won the Olympics on its diversity. You go onto LOCOG's website, you see it won the Olympics because of London's diversity and multiculturalism. Yet the Prime Minister stands up and makes a speech and says multiculturalism doesn't work. But it works to get the Olympics here and for you to get billions of money into the country. Once you've got that, do you see what I'm saying to you? Are we stupid, bro?
Contradiction, Do
you hear what I'm saying to you?
Totally.
And all of a sudden, multiculturalism doesn't work. You know what I'm saying to you? And we went to the greatest party that the United Kingdom has produced, the last bank holiday weekend, which is Notting Hill Carnival, which was started by the African Caribbean community, and we have a chance to showcase this to London, but we've got a Prime Minister who's saying multiculturalism doesn't work. He's also said, has gone on record as saying, for those who have been treated quite harshly, quite draconianly by the justice system at this present time for involvement in uprising, disturbances, riots, however your thinking is, however the media has manipulated your thinking at this present time, as saying he's not listening to any phony human rights. But excuse me, didn't the United Kingdom just go into Libya because the Prime Minister stood up and says the people of Libya's human rights were being affected by their leader, Colonel Gaddafi. The same as what is happening in Syria. The same as what is happening in Bahrain. And like I said, the catalyst was the treatment of the police, the enforcers of the state, yeah, for the so-called Arab Spring uprising. So what are you saying, Mr. Prime Minister, Mr. Cameron, sir? Are you saying that the human rights of the Arabs are more important than the human rights of the citizens and youth and the ordinary middle-class families of the United Kingdom? Yeah, I would love to go into Parliament and talk to them, you know, bro. I'd really like to have a conversation with some of them.
You're absolutely right. I just want to home in here in terms of what's been happening, right? Because the limited time we have. What's been happening in terms of what we're doing right now, in terms of the way forward. But before that, I know you was, you was on BBC London last night, or?
Well, I was called. I was asked. They actually didn't. I suppose because he actually asked some of the stuff he was going to say before the program, and as you know, we don't mince our words. So Ken Hines, who you know runs the Stop and Search group, and is the if you like the head mediator, not just for Haringey, but for all the Stop and Search groups in London. He actually gave me a call because they were doing reports into a month after the riots, you know. But it's ain't more than them just trying to find out what the mood is, trying to gauge what do we do next. Because we take it for granted that a lot of these ministers and politicians know exactly what they're doing. You know what I mean? But when you got to really think of it, you got people who are ministers, like health ministers. Have they ever been in health? You got people handling the economy. Have they got any work experience handling large sums of money? Do you hear what I'm saying to you? You got people who are justice ministers. Do they know anything about law? You know what I'm saying to you? Yeah. What is their background? You hear what I'm saying to you? So you often got to bear this in mind, because I'm a firm thinker that Parliament should be made up of a cross section of all members of society, bro. Yeah. It shouldn't be just like, oh, you have to be educated in Oxford, Cambridge, Harvard, or in university, etc., etc. Yeah. Common sense is not common, as we know. It's very, very rare. You know what I'm saying to you? Yeah. And you could be very, very well educated, yeah, but lack common sense. And we know experience is the best teacher. Best teacher, of course, yeah. But the worst friend, my brother, because not all experiences are positive. That's right. Yeah.
I just want to bring it around to the whole thing about what's been happening now, and what do you think is the way forward?
Dialogue is the way forward. Education, not just education for those who are suffering at the low end of the scale. I'm talking about education of our leaders. Yeah, we have to start acknowledging what's actually happening on the ground, rather than coming with knee-jerk react. I mean, when you look at some of the sentencing that's been taking place through the disturbances, a lot of it, you have to say, is knee-jerk reaction. A lot of it is trying to institute fair. Yeah? When are we going to get back to instituting respect? And respect is earned. Respect is earned through your actions, not through your words. Yeah, you feeling me, bro?
Say that again, brother.
Yeah, respect is earned through your actions, not through your words. It's not demanded. Do you hear what I'm saying to you, my brother? And sometimes those who govern us, I think they forget this. And I think those who govern us should take a look at their actions, not just on a community level, yeah, or a national level, but an international level at this present time, especially when we have things like the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, or we have human rights. By virtue of the fact we have it, that means human beings in general have a problem in relating to each other, communicating with each other. Yeah, and at one of the meetings that we was at on Sunday, it was interesting that the minister sister who was there, I can't remember her name, Nadine I think, or Naomi was her name, was talking about the Declaration of Human Rights, yeah, and about what it actually entails and what it actually says. And those who created it, yeah, which is one of the things that we've been trying to get across when we've been teaching for the last 10, 11 years. Those who created it wanted it to be taught in every single educational establishment, yeah, which is the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which basically gives us a set of guidelines in telling us how to act as a nation, as a society, as human beings towards one another in a spirit of brotherhood and sisterhood. You hear what we're saying to you? And as I said, I've been into educational institutions, my children have been into educational institutions, my young children are now in educational institutions, and it's never been taught. Yeah, the way forward, that is one of the ways forward. Yeah, we should be versed with basic laws, yeah, about democracy, because politicians are always going on about the rule of law. Yeah, so the way forward is, from you are aware of the law and you know the law, then you will not be prone to want to break that law. Yeah, and at least from you knew the law and it is known that you've got a certificate saying I know the law of the land, yeah, and you break those laws, then you deserve what's coming your way. Do you hear what I'm saying to you, bro? Yeah, but let's make an effort to explain to people what the Universal Declaration of Human Rights is, what human rights actually is. Even if you've done something wrong, you still have rights, bro. People may not like that, but people tend to be very emotional when situations like what took place with the uprisings or the riots for 2011, you see a lot of the justice that's been administrated, a lot of it is emotional, a lot of it is knee-jerk reaction. Let's bring back the death penalty. You know what I'm saying to you? Yeah. We seem to lack compassion. We seem to lack tolerance. We seem to lack any form of, okay, let's explain things to people from a level of respect. So one of the key ways forward, yeah, is to introduce, yeah, that level of respect back into our communities, that level of respect from our youth to our elders who are here to help guide them through the pitfalls that we've been through. Some of us, we look at our youth and we smile. Yeah, we say, you've got the energy to make a change, but you have to learn the lessons of the past in order not to make the mistakes that we have made.
Yeah, I just want to interject there, because I mean, I'm listening to you very carefully, and I agree with you 100%. And one of the things I've realised that the media are very skillfully in terms of manipulating the way we're thinking, in terms of getting it's like a divide and rule, isn't it?
That's correct.
See what I'm saying?
It's correct.
And I've got this on that. Because also what I'm looking at here is that if you look at what's happening with Brother Smiley culture in terms of his joining ancestors, and again there's been no justice for that.
That's correct.
Right, and you brought it to the table, was reason earlier on, right? Do you think at this time now that, I mean, I'm just sitting off of my head now, reading my brother, that we need to have like a day of action where we just say, I'm just out of my head that during the week that nobody should go to work that particular day, and really try to bring this country upside, bring it to kind of random. I just want to bring your thoughts onto that.
What you're talking about is non-compliance. What you're talking about is would be a form of social disturbance, yeah, based around people's civil liberties, based around people's civil rights, based around people's human rights, yeah, based around injustice that we feel as a community in the amount of brothers being killed in custody, yeah, being humiliated, being abused daily, on a daily basis, as we said, that's been going on for generations, okay? And whenever we, if you like, do as you're suggesting, non-compliance, whenever we do that, yeah, it seems to fall on deaf ears, yeah? The actions that have been taking place, as you said, the media very skillfully put it on an agenda of criminal justice.
That's right, that's right.
Yeah?
That's right, that's right.
Without looking at social injustice.
That's right.
Yeah? Without paying respect to the fact of he who feels it knows it.
That's right.
Yeah? And we've been feeling it for generations, the brutality at the hands of the police. Yeah? No, we're not saying that everyone's an angel in the African Caribbean community, but not everyone's an angel in the European community either, and they treat them a lot different to how they treat us. Do you hear what I'm saying to them? Let's not mince our words here. Do you hear what we're saying to you? Yeah, and unfortunately, yeah, the racism that does exist, the institutionalised racism that was talked about by Lord Macpherson, hasn't gone away overnight in 25 years. okay, in not only in the Metropolitan Police Force, but in society in general, all right? Because you're talking to a generation here. I was born in the UK. Do I feel like I belong here, or do I feel like an outcast in the country that I was born in? Well, to be honest, I feel like an outcast in the country that I was born in. Do you hear what I'm saying to you? And when you look at the racism that impacts on the UK, it's to the detriment. If you're looking at what we bring into the UK economy with the Notting Hill Carnival, and you look at the racism that is perpetuated against people of colour, it's actually to the detriment of the United Kingdom, because by actually allowing us to flourish and not treating us in such a disrespectful way, it would actually help the economy more. That's what the Notting Hill Carnival has proven, and what the politicians are not seeing, or are they afraid of us actually, or our communities actually having that financial independence to be able to employ our youth, to give our youth that career, to actually be financially sustainable, to have not having to go for permanent funding, or having to go what it seems like a handout. But I'm great. It's our taxes, so it's not an handout. Do you hear what I'm saying to you? But my point is that by actually condoning this racist behaviour, by having this racist behaviour, it's actually to the detriment of your economy. Do you hear what I'm saying? If people are at a deeper level, bruv. So, as I said, dialogue is one of the ways forward. Action, activating. As activists, we always talk about. We can't sit down and wait for things to happen. We've got to make things happen. You know what I'm saying to you? In other words, if we didn't feel so strongly about them wanting to close down body music and put another betting shop in the paper, if you and I didn't feel so strongly, the campaign that we launched wouldn't have been so successful, bro. You know what I'm saying to you? That change starts within each individual. As I always say to people, listen to the Michael Jackson song Man in the Mirror. He's talking about that change within each individual, and you making that change within yourself to now be able to be a part of your community and make the changes that you see and deem necessary within your community. But that day of action that you're talking about is all combined and part of what we have to do, or what we feel we have to do as a community to get that respect. Remember, respect is earned, as we said, through your action. To get our voice heard, as you said, your program is find your voice. Because you want our voice to be heard, brother Dougie. You hear what I'm saying to you? And not only to be heard, but also to be acted on.
Acted on, absolutely right. What I want to do here is that because, brother, you've got so much to say, and it's just pinching, you know what I mean, just kind of teasers, you know. But what I want to do now, what would be the final word you'd like to leave us right now, my brother? Because there will be a part two, and we need to continue this reasoning, because we want to bring other people to share and, like I said, find their voice and give a true perspective of what's taking place, you know.
As I said, it's a lot of people talk about the youth. Our youth at this present time are feeling very disenfranchised. They can't see no hope. They can't see no job. They can't see no career. They cannot see no future. What does this lead to? This leads to a life of crime. This leads to drug activity. This leads to, do you hear what I'm saying to you? So, in essence and reality, being as we're saying that we live in a democracy, in a democratic country, okay, we really need to be making sure that the decisions that are currently affecting our community, that we actually have some representation at the decision-making table. At this present time, if you look at the government of the UK or the European Parliament, who are making decisions on the behalf of African Caribbeans or African Europeans, a lot of our community are saying, even though we have black representation in the Houses of Parliament and a limited representation in the European Parliament, we don't have no voice. As we said, we often try to make our MP for our area, David Lammy, accountable. The local MP for Hackney, Diane Abbott, accountable. Where are they? That's why people such as yourself and such as ourselves are having to step forward. But really, we need to be at the decision-making table when these decisions are being made, and not token representatives of our community, who do not want to be accountable to our community.
Okay then, my brother. Well, at this point, we need to give thanks to brother Duhamutif for coming in and give us a perspective, you know, because one thing about a brother, he's not about truth he brings to the table, not about absolute truth. And like anything else, we need to turn this thing upside down and reason as a family. And I believe with all my heart it's only through organisation we can solve our problem. That means being mature, that means being humble, and I myself, this is a born organisation, you know what I mean? I've been under the apprenticeship of people like Pepper Kai and Head Start, and they bring me in. So but one thing I do know, you have to be disciplined. And my brother would agree with me. One of the problems which we do have when we come together as a family, that we do lack discipline. And the one thing I've been talking all the time about organising, but we have to be disciplined. And everything starts from the mind. So at this point, I'd like to give thanks again for being part of the research and being part of my beautiful brother here.
Thank you very much, my brother, for having me here. Appreciate you for listening to our words and get involved in your community, make a difference.
And also let people know that tune into SLR, that's 97.7 tonight from 10:30, and the website is www.myspace.com/SLR radio. Here to give the truth, nothing but the truth and the absolute truth. Peace. And also make sure you log into
www.red5599.com.
So please tune in. Let many people know about it, because one thing we'll do, we'll let many people know what we're doing. And you ought to get this from Tony's Barbershop, and look into red5599.com. Okay, peace.
Take care. Peace be unto you.
Greetings, family. Welcome to Tony's Barbershop. And again, make sure you log into this one here, www.red5599.com. We're here live and direct. We're here to give the truth, not but the truth and the absolute truth. And we're focusing around the whole thing about what's happening in Tottenham. I have a brother who's here, and I've seen him enough time about the place. A very wise man, right? And he'll give us a perspective, raw, direct, how you feel about Tottenham. So first thing I ask, brother, how's your name? What's the first thing? What's his name?
Asa.
Asa. Yeah? Thank you, my brother, alright?
I'm fine.
Yeah? Well, my brother, Timson, we want to bring back to the uprising, and what was your feeling, my brother?
Ooh, it's a melting pot. It's been, I think it's been boiling up for a little while. I don't think after the Broadwater Farm incident, things have really kind of died away. It's actually still, things just been kind of like swept under the carpet and tried to keep it there, but no. So I believe it had to foment itself and rise to the top.
Because from what you're saying, my brother, that everything's just been a boiling point, and obviously what happened with our brother Mark, that was a boiling point. Don't forget, before that we had Somali culture, and after Somali culture there was a few deaths discussed in Birmingham, right? So it just reached to a boiling point. But let me ask you a question, my brother. After observing this, and reflect on this, right? What do you think is the way forward?
Ooh. Yeah, we've got to get together as people constructively and be able to kind of like sit down with the politicians, the police, and try to discourse what is really going on and how we can contribute as well, how we can be part of building a better community and a constructive community.
And because one of the things is quite clear is that and the Duhamutif said earlier, at least we're dialogue with each other, and there's it's communication, and people are coming together regardless of their different ideology. For example, there was a meeting Sunday hosted by the Nation Islam, but the brother who hosted was a Christian.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So forget about the religious thing. No, leave that one side. We'll come together. So out of this, we do need to come together and see with sincerity how we move forward, and like I said, build bridges now.
Yes.
It's about building bridges and so forth, What I'm going to ask you here, my brother, that when you look at young people, right, what do you think they need today in terms of moving forward? You know, what do you think is the stumbling block with young people?
Well,
I'm trying to put in a spot there, but
yeah, I mean, no, they need structure. There needs to be there needs to be order for them. At the end of the day, there needs to be somewhere where they can go and speak and be heard, and not actually just be heard and everything that's been put on the shelf, which has always been done. And even from my time at the end of the day, coming forward to talk at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, we hear you, we put it on the shelf for another day. And I think that's what seems to be going on at the end of the day. So there's no really action going on for them, really and truly, for them to really move forward.
Yeah. Because what you're saying, you know, they're not really being heard, and there's not enough space for them to really express themselves. That's exactly the word. And also, we listen to what Duhamutif spoke earlier on, right? That if you look at Harringay, all the youth services are closed down. 7% of the youth services just totally work. In fact, I don't know if any youth services open. Personally speaking, I'm talking about in Tottenham. I don't see any youth service. If I'm misrepresenting information, please correct me. But I don't see any youth service open in Tottenham.
Yeah, I mean, I'm coming from the youth service myself. Thatcher started it off at the day when she started tearing down Ilya.
Right.
Because we have to really go back at the end of the day, and that was. I mean, for me personally, I think it was a factor that small people were coming through. Like, we know Bernie Grants started to get to the House of Commons and stuff like this.
Yeah.
So they realised that in the day, these are places that, or institutes, they need to start closing down.
That's right.
Because they don't really want to see us actually there alongside them. So I don't think this is something new. This is something that's been manufactured from time and been going on. But yes, it's got to the fruition now where there's nothing really out there for the youngsters. And as you said right now, with the 75% of the youth service closing down, that's not positive, and that's not the way forward. That's right. For the youngsters.
You mentioned Bernie Grant. I mean,
rest his God rest. Yeah.
What can you say about the great man Bernie Grant?
He was the way forward for us at the end of the day, and he listened to the people, and he was there. And I know that every year he always made sure there was money put aside for a bookshop that was on the road here for us. And that's actually been taken away from us now.
Right. Yeah.
So at the end of the day, we realise through education, they know that it's a threat at the end of the day. Because once you start to educate people, then they can start to talk and be more kind of like proactive in the sense of what they actually want. So overall, probably education is the way that they know that they want to tear things down. That's right.
Okay then, my brother, I know we just had to we had to bring you to the hot seat, you know what I mean? And it's really good to get a perspective from you, my brother. And my brother, is nothing but love for you and your family. And as you know that, we're here to bring the information to our people in the community. So, brother, I want to give thanks to you, my brother.
Thank you very much.
One love, my brother.
Yes.
One love.
Forward.
So again, we must give thanks to the beautiful brother here, to bring some information to us. And again, we have to give thanks to what's taking place. And again, we're here to bring the information to our people in the community. So again, give thanks.